This is Irontrader. This is Midday Trading. So I want to take a look here at some stocks. We'll take a look here at CSCO, Oracle, Applied Materials, and Disney. All the earnings will be coming out there next week. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock, commodity, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have CSCO. Now the earnings are coming out here on the 12th. So if you're trading this, let's just see how this is going to shake out here. So let's look at the previous earnings, okay? So we had this earnings here going up. Here it came up and rallied up pretty nicely. This year, you can see where it gapped up nice, okay? Now this earnings, nice good rally on up. And then we had the last earnings, well, we came right on down and then we rallied up here nicely. So again, we have to see how that's going to shake out. But let's just take a look here at the overall charts. All right, you can see here now we hit that high at 74.84 level, okay? Then we came on down, we lost that 8-day, and now we're holding right at that 21-day to catch all, that's 70.86, okay? So that's going to be very, very key support. Now, if we lose that, we'll come to the bottom of that candle right there. You're looking at 70.94. We'll come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 69.85. And then we'll be looking here for that 69.19. That is going to be your 50-day. And then we have the 100-day right below that at 68.76. And then we have a retest there at 68.81 level, which is basically right there. Now, if we lose that, we'll come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 66.38. And we have 66.13, and then we have a nice big retest down here at that 65.75 mark, and then we have your 200-day at 65.01 level, okay? Now, there is a gap all the way down here, okay? So you really want to watch the bottom of that candle right there at that 62.30 level, and then we look at the top of that candle at 61.87. So we have a gap, and then we have the fill all the way on there. That's only if we lose all these simple moving averages and that 200-day. Now, you can see here we've got to a little bit of an overbought situation, but now we're just kind of sitting here sideways action. The green is over your red, but this could curl right back up. Right now, you had the chart actually looks, I would think, pretty good here overall situation. We just have this consolidation. It went up a little bit, and now we got to see how it can hold this key support levels, okay? Now, on the upside, you got to get back above that 72.29. That's our, 72, 29. Okay, we get above that, we'll come over top of that candle, 72.82 level. We'll come up there, you're looking at 73.48. And then your next upside is going to be 73.99. There's your big retest at 74.84. You crack that, obviously you can start heading to 80, and you start working up towards that 100 mark, okay, on the CSCO. So right now we have to see how the earnings again are going to be coming out here. And just remember that they'll be coming out on November 12th. So we got to see how that shakes out. The key is be holding that 21-day. If we lose it, you can go to that 50-day, 100-day, and possible retest, and possible 200-day if this cracks down. Upside here, just watch that 8-day. That's going to be very, very key. We get above that, we can have a really nice retest of that 74.84 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at Oracle. Here we have Oracle. Now, their earnings are also on the 12th. Now, you can see here how we had this big run up here. Now, let's just take a look at the earnings also. Okay, earnings, it gapped right on up here. Okay, this one side one gapped up. This one up a little bit. And then this one here, nice good gap up, rally out here. And then look at here, the gap up. So the last two earnings period, the earnings gapped the stock up very, very nicely. Okay, so what we have here, okay, now we can see where we're selling off. See how the 21-day crossed the 50-day, 8-day, the 50-day, the 100-day. Now she's rolling right on down here, okay? So right now what you're watching is the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 233.08 level. Your next level is going to be right there at that 225.89, and then we're going to have this big retest down here at that 218.79. Now, if you lose that, here's your big target. It's going to be that a 207.91 level. Okay. Now there is a gap. Let me just see if I can pick this up here, make it a little easier for you to see. There's a gap all the way down here. Okay, so you're looking at 188.88, and then we look at the top of the candle, 179.55. Now, I always show you that because if we lose that 200-day, a lot of times what it'll do, it'll come to the gap. Doesn't mean it has to fill it, but a lot of times it'll come right to the gap. Now, once it starts getting into the gap, then most of the time it just wants to fill that gap at that 179.55. So just always watch that scenario, okay? That's why I always show you those gaps in the fills. Now, here on the upside, we can see here, we just have like a big waterfall situation. So what you're looking for, it's the top of that candle again, 249.07. But really what you're looking for is that 253.72. You have to get back above the 8-day. And then we have your 100 SMA here sitting at 258. We get above that, then we come to the top of this candle right there. You're looking at 269.76. Then we have your 21-day at 275. And then we have your that 279.15 level, which is your 50-day. But you have a lot of resistance here when you look at this, that the 8-day and the 21-day when they're actually like are rolling right over. Now, we're getting here very, very close here to this oversold conditions. Not quite there yet. See how we had it in the past? We had that oversold, but you're getting down into that neck of the woods. And same way with your MACD, you're headed right on down. So again, if this comes all the way down to that 200-day and it holds it, that could be a good buying opportunity to take this back up again. Okay, let's take a look here at Applied Materials, AMT. All right, here we have Applied Materials, AMT. So let me just see when the earnings are coming out on that. And that is going to be on November 13th. Okay, so let's just take the earnings in the past. Okay, so what we had here went there and rallied up nicely. This one here, sideways action. This one here, the earnings, it fell right on off. This one here fell down. This one here fell down. This one here fell down. So the odds of this falling down, going downwards, are pretty damn good, okay? Because you look at the last couple earnings period versus what we just had there with the Oracle, which were two up levels. Now we have two down levels here, okay? So now the key is going to be holding, let me just bigger up here for you. Okay, the key is going to be right here, is holding that 21-day on a closing basis. Okay, you have to get back above 21-day, and then we have to get above that 8-day at 233. Now again, that 8-day did not cross over, but again, that's going to provide very, very strong resistance on the upside, and same way with that 8-day. Now, if we can get it back above that, then we can retest that 242 level. We crack above that, then we're going to start heading for that 250 and work yourself right on up, okay? Now, on the downside, you want to obviously watch today's low. You're looking at 224.83. We'll come down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 218.12. Then we come down to the bottom there. You're looking at that 213.71, and then we have a retest here at 209. Then we have your 50-day there at 205 level. Okay, so that's what we're looking now. I want to show you also we have a small gap right here. Okay, 192.43 is your gap, and then 191.85 is your fill. Gap or fill, but this is the next one that's right there, is 183.83, and then we have the fill at 179.55. Okay, gap, fill situation. But we have that 50-day and that 100-day and that 200-day. So again, that is going to be your big time targets. But again, just watch this. You can see how nice it's stair-stepped situation up, but we have negative divergence. See how we had a high, and then we have a lower high, we have a high, we have a higher high. So we have that negative divergence. So always pay attention to that. Now, it doesn't always play out. A lot of times it does, and eventually it will play out just like it's doing on the indexes right now, okay? So your MACD here, your green is below your red, and this looks like it just wants to go a lower kind of a situation. So if I look at the previous earnings that we had, the odds of this is tanking down are obviously pretty good. Okay, let's take a look here now at Disney. All right, here we have Disney. Now let's just see when their earnings are coming out. The earnings are coming out also on November 13th, which would be next week, okay? So let's just take a look at their earnings, okay? So we have here, and it ran up nice. I'll come up here, and it ran up very, very nice. This one here is kind of a sideways action. This one here gapped right up, and then look at this here, nice. So obviously, realistically, this here could go higher, because if you look at a couple of past earnings, it's like a gap and go situation, okay? Same way with here, okay, it fell down a little bit, but then it just rallied up very, very nice. Now we're doing this consolidation situation here. Okay, so that's what we got going. So right now, what we're watching is that 110 level. That's your 200-day. And if we lose that, you can come right there to that 108.51 level. Okay, that's what you're going to be looking at. Now, again, what we have here is when you look at that level right there at that 108.51, all we have to do is just bring this right across. Okay, so what do we have here? You got 108.78. Okay, then we come down here, 108.66. So there's your gap. And then we look at the top of this candle here at 106.19. Okay, your gap, 108.66, and then right there, 106.19. There's your gap, and there's your fill if it keeps right on selling. Now we also have this other gap down here at 114, and then we have the fill all the way up here at 92.74. Your gap and your fill, your gap and your fill. So a lot of times if this sells down, it could hold that gap. If it doesn't, it could go right in. Now if it keeps right on selling, then we look for the next gap at key support level, and it starts going into it, then the odds are going up as going to be pretty high that 92.74 is where your target is going to be. Now you can see here we just have this sideways kind of a consolidation, okay? But now on the upside, what we're looking for is right here. We're looking for that 21-day at the 11.49 level. We're looking at that 8-day at 11.29. Okay, then we have to get above and hit that. Then we have that nice 50-day at 113.45. Now we crack on that. We have that 116 level, which is basically your 100-day. Now if we get above that, we come right over here, bring the price channel right across. You got 119.78. We bring this price channel right across. You got 123.40 and then 124.69. That is your big retest here. But again, this looks like here, this is a descending chart. See how we had this double top situation? Sold on down and has been selling now here ever since. So the key is you have to hold that key price channel, that 108.51. If not, we're going to start going into these gaps and into those fills kind of a situation. All right. Now, this is not overbought or oversold the same way with the MACD. This is just like a sideways action. So on this one here, I would be a little bit careful going into the earnings, especially now when stuff is closed. People are cutting back on the spending. You can see that like with McDonald's and all this kind of thing. So just be a little bit careful if you're trading this one. I would wait till after the earnings and then decide if you want to get in or if you want to get out of that situation. Okay. Now, the overall market right now is selling off. The Dow's down about 305, S&P is down 72, and Nasdaq's down 413. So we got to see if that's going to actually hold through the rest of the day, or you're going to get some kind of a relief rally, or how this is all going to shake out. So, but again, be very, very patient here. Let the trade come to you. Don't just jump in, just to jump in and say, oh, the price is down here, price is down. The prices could go a lot lower. I'll show you the indexes here after when we after the pick close, where we'll do Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we'll take a look here at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and then we'll take a look at these indexes, which I've been saying for a long time now, though. They had a really good nosebleed section, but again, that never lasts. It always eventually will come off. So you got to be a little bit careful on this situation that this market could go lower here in November and then rally into the end of the year here. So, okay, so let's just see how this all going to shake out. So don't take any risk unless the trade comes to you. And remember, if you have money in the trade, take it. Okay, you can always buy the trade back. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pick close and trade what's in front of you, not what you want.